Chapter 8. The helicopter continued to fly over the San Diego Dinosaur Sanctuary, flying past the Innovation Center, and eventually the helicopter began circling over the staff facilities before noticing a worker with marshalling wands signaling the helicopter. The pilots slowly descended before landing slowly and almost perfectly at one of the eight arrival centers. The pilots unlocked the helicopter doors and signaled to the engine worker. The engine worker slid open the door and greeted, "Ah, yes, welcome, Dr. Nathan Wilson, to the San Diego Dinosaur Sanctuary." So Rivera, Jackson, Nathan, and Dr. Morales exited the helicopter, with the engine worker closing the helicopter door before walking away. Shortly after, Nathan saw the pilot start up the helicopter before eventually flying off. Rivera then told Nathan, "So the park managed to pass all of its previous major tests, and the dinosaur sanctuary is almost complete and is fully functioning anyways, which means we'll be planning to open the San Diego Dinosaur Sanctuary in early September of next year. The parking lots for visitors are ready, and we even have a slightly small airport just a few miles from the park." Morales then explained, "So, Dr. Wilson, we'll be showing you around some of the off limits facilities before you set out into the sanctuary. Nearby were several buildings such as the Staff Center, Response Facility, the ACU Center, the Science Center, and the Control Center, with nearly the entire facility area being surrounded by large, heavy, steel, electrified fences similar to those of the Safari Lodge, as well as a few nearby facility hotels, as well as several emergency shelters, with there being several parked, remodified SWAT Humvees, trucks, and vans, and also the ACU guards patrolling the area, many of which are dressed very similar to tactical soldiers. Jason questioned, "So, why is the security here so robust? I see a ton of armored, remodified SWAT vans, SWAT vehicles, heavily armored, modified SWAT helicopters to damn, recapture dinosaurs, I assume. And why do the guards look like literal tactical soldiers?" Wilson joked, "Is this dinosaur Fort Knox or something?" Rivera responded, United Genesis Enterprises has put as much effort in as possible in order to prevent a repeat of the accident on Isla Nublar or the San Diego incident. We spent as much as we could into our security budget, stabilized dinosaur enclosures, and corporate backend. And besides, those guards you were saying, they're the ACU personnel. Rivera continued, ACU stands for Asset Containment Unit. They're a highly trained paramilitaristic security force responsible for keeping the dinosaurs contained and recapturing the creatures, if needed, humanely and efficiently. Nathan paused, almost hesitating, before asking, "So, Dr. Morales, have you ever heard about animal... Oh god, I think I'm gonna butcher this saying. Psychopathology? Psychopathology, I think. I think that's how it's said. It's better known as zoochosis, a branch of scientific study." Dr. Morales responded, "No, but what about it?" Before Nathan responded, he looked around, seeing the various geneticists, scientists, and UGE workers wandering alongside the patrolling ACU guards. Nathan then answered Morales' question. Zoochosis is the study of mental or behavioral disorders in non human animals, with the term being coined by British actor, screenwriter, and animal rights activist Bill Travers to describe the repetitive, abnormal behaviors like pacing or head bobbing seen in captive wild animals, particularly in zoos and circuses. Its origin lies in the belief that captivity imposes unnatural stress and frustration by preventing animals from fulfilling species specific needs, leading to impaired brain function and psychological distress. Nathan explained in a concerned manner, "I understand United Genesis and InGen are protecting the world's last dinosaurs on the planet from illegal ecotourism and dinosaur poaching slash smuggling. In fact, this isn't exclusive to Sorna. These have been issues since ecological conservation was a thing. Wildlife poaching and illegal ecotourism are issues to endanger wildlife across the world." like in the Indian subcontinent, across sub Saharan Africa, and all over South America, particularly the Amazon rainforest. You see, Morales interrupted. Doctor, I promise you, the dinosaurs are living happily in stabilized, safe, and spacious enclosures. They won't develop any psychological traumatic disorders. Morales then assured the paleontologist. I assure you, Dr. Wilson, everything will be okay. Besides, with Disneyland open on July 17th, 19 oh, oh no, no, I meant 1955, guys. Sorry, ignore that, guys. 1955. Although the Jungle Cruise attraction was technically working, the attraction still wasn't fully ready. Nathan chuckled. Well, that's slightly different because when the steam tramp rides broke down, it wasn't like the animatronic wildlife ate the tourists. A bit later, the group was wandering through the path of the workers' facilities. Wilson noticed how the buildings had a robust, tanky, militaristic look, but that wouldn't matter for a moment, as now the group was heading east. As Nathan looked, he noticed several holding pens housed in separate groups. Oh crap, hold on, guys, give me a moment. Sorry about that, guys. As Nathan looked, he noticed several housing pens housing separate groups of cattle and goats. There must have been a total of at least a few thousand cattle and goats, as well as nearby a few parked livestock trailers with the words "Injun" on the side, alongside various UGE crates and a few cargo containers. There were also basic equipment storage and even indoor barns to house the said cattle and goats when needed. And there were also structures for veterinary and carrying equipment. And Nathan asked, So, why are there these vast holding pens for so many cattle and goats? Vera responded, Think of these vast herds as cattle and goats for as food for the larger theropod dinosaurs, like our star attraction, Junior the Tyrannosaurus rex, learned to feed lar- larger theropod dinosaurs. Soon after, Jackson, Martin, Rivera, and Wilson found themselves next to the paleomedical facility, a sleek contemporary welfare facility next to a relatively small enclosure with medium steel in order to nurse sick dinosaurs or raise very young juvenile dinosaurs. Next to the paleomedical facility was the mobile veterinary van or something. I meant MVU, sorry. Just ignore that, please. Nathan, after making a quick glance at the building, asked Rivera. So, Miss Rivera, what is this building you wanted to show me? Rivera responded. This here is a paleomedical facility. This is used to treat dinosaurs with several with severe injuries or illnesses the Mobile Veterinary Unit, or MVU, can't handle. They're using the MVU to scan and identify a major medical issue. The dinosaur is tranquilized and transported to the facility by an ACU team. But just then, Nathan stopped and gasped, Oh my goodness! There's no way! They were chuckling slightly hysterically and smiling. And there, in the enclosure, was a tranquilized male, sick Styracosaurus resting. Styracosaurus was just under 6 feet or 1.8 meters tall, 5.5 meters or 18 feet in length, with a pronounced, distinct beak, orange reddish eyes, a singular large horn, and a large frill with a total of 7 horns, almost curving backwards. The Styracosaurus had a somewhat bulky body, 4 toes, and pillar shaped legs, as well as a creamy underbelly and smooth tan colored skin that devolved into a pale greenish that evolved into gray color tones, with a pair of large rusted red colored circles in the frills. Present next to the source was Dr. Elizabeth Johnson, tall, oh, fiercely independent, ginger haired, and physically strong woman of 32. She was chief veterinarian of the sanctuary, Elizabeth had a remote control and opened the main gates to the paleomedical facility's enclosure. Oh crap! That was a typo, guys. Ignore that, please. I'm sorry for all the errors. I'm sorry. Didn't have time for to check over. I'm really sorry. Johnson introduced herself. Oh, Miss Rivera, Mr. Jackson. It's nice to meet you. It seems as if you brought a friend. Rivera responded. This here is Dr. Nathan Wilson. He's a paleontologist, paleobotanist, naturalist, and zoologist visiting the sanctuary right now before opening day. Johnson explained. You see, one of the Styracosaurs has fallen sick due to a slight case of Campylobacter, a genus of gram-negative bacteria. For brief knowledge, bacteria are prokaryotic microorganisms, meaning they have a cytoplasm, usually a flagella, ribosomes, a cell membrane, and usually a cell wall. But bacteria don't have any nucleus or membrane bound organelles in general. Johnson continued. Most bacteria are beneficial, like decomposing dead organic material, or live in and on human skin to provide protections from pathogens, and in the gut to provide health benefits, to produce vitamins, and strengthen the immune system. However, some bacteria infect organic life to seek primarily survival and production. And in this case, one of our Styracosaurs fell sick due to a case of Campylobacter, a genus of bacteria that causes foodborne illness, with the disease being characterized by diarrhea, abdominal cramps, fever, and nausea or vomiting. But generally, it's not too severe, and although the disease would only last about a week, in this case, we had to transport the dinosaur before the disease could potentially even worsen. Nathan said to himself, although I've been digging up dinosaur bones, I never thought I would come face to face with a living, breathing dinosaur. Nathan then proceeds to ask Johnson, well then, are you sure you and your veterinarian team will know what you're doing? What if this isn't Campylobacter? What if this is something else? That's much worse than a simple case of indigestive food poisoning. Johnson replied. United Genesis and InGen have supplied the staff at the sanctuary's paleomedical facility enough advanced medical equipment to last the first few years of opening. Nathan then commented, you see, zoochosis can lead to physical sickness to zoo animals, as the mental trauma of captivity can trigger chronic stress of captivity, could potentially lead to a decline in physical, mental, and emotional health, resulting in conditions like weight loss, self-mutilation, over-grooming, and a suspectability to other diseases. Nathan then questioned, so, could one of the sanctuary's Styracosaurs be stricken with zoochosis? Jensen verified, saying, well, actually, Dr. Wilson, the case of the sick Styracosaurus is a bit different from the experience of zoochosis. This Styracosaurus is housed at the Styrac... Oh, crap. Typo. Wrong one. I meant... Uh, at the Triceratops territory attraction on the other side. Oh, damn it. Damn it. Nearby in the San Diego Dinosaur Sanctuary. Triceratops territory. Sorry for the errors. I'm really sorry. Styracosaurs live in a rather decently spacious enclosure with Euplocephalus and Coryphosaurus, meaning there are no large theropod dinosaurs or any need for competition. Oh, wait, hold on. Not wrong one. Wrong dinosaurs. Crap, wrong one. I'm genuinely sorry for all this. I apologize. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry. Torosaurus and Triceratops. Please ignore all the errors. I'm really sorry. Meaning there are no large theropod dinosaurs or any need for competition. In fact, although the sanctuary's veterinarian team isn't quite sure as of now, Justin continued, it's likely that this male Styracosaurus got sick from potential Campylobacter jejuni or Campylobacter coli living on contaminated wild fruits or vegetables in the enclosure. However, this Styracosaurus is quite healthy and doesn't have any physical signs of self-mutilation, weight loss, frustration in captivity, or chronic stress, meaning zoochosis isn't a factor for the sickness of the Styracosaurus. Jackson asked, Mr. Rivera, is it okay if I can stay behind for the rest of the tour in order to help the Styracosaurus recover? Rivera verified. Sure, the UNDOC loves to help out dinosaurs in need. It's totally okay. Chapter 10. Rivera led Dr. Morales and Dr. Wilson to the Innovation Center, which had a sleek, efficient, professional, contemporary look to it, and features various minor theme park attractions, over 100 attractions, and 20,000 square feet in total. The Innovation Center has the main dining facility, Island Monitor Center, guided tours, visitor reception and lodging, information center, and skeleton digging. Rivera gestured proudly toward the glass and steel structure before them. Here we are, the Innovation Center. This is the main hub of the sanctuary, right here in the heart of Main Street. Guests come here first after entering from southern and eastern parking lots. It's home to the dining halls, reception and lodging, the creation lab. Oh wait, hold on, man. Hold on, guys. Typo. Goof up. I'm actually sorry. I really am. Control center, guided tours, and even interactive exhibits like the fossil dig zone. She nodded toward the sleek monorail gliding silently overhead. From here, visitors can take the monorail to every corner of the island. Morales took over with a polished business-like tone. While UNDOC and the Department of Fish and Wildlife funded much of the construction, InGen and their new parent company, United Genesis, technically own the sanctuary. Their North American branch, United Genesis North American Enterprises, or UGNA, oversees operations in the US, Canada, and Mexico. Their headquarters are in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Major cities like in New York City, Ann Arbor, Michigan, Georgetown, Kentucky, Austin, Texas, and Washington, D.C. He paused and glanced at Nathan before continuing. The president and CEO of UGNA is Henry Thompson. He couldn't be here today. Corporate meetings in Kyoto, but his two children just arrived by private helicopter earlier this morning. They'll be staying at the lodge for the weekend. Henry believes it's important for them to see firsthand what the sanctuary represents. Not just the park, but the legacy of ecological preservation, corporate responsibility, and frankly, a great deal of money that their family will one day oversee. Nathan arched the brow at that, but said nothing. Just then, he noticed two figures waiting near the tall glass doors. The younger, Lucas, stood uncomfortably straight in polished black shoes, neatly pressed jeans, and a fitted blazer over a crisp white business shirt. His hair was combed perfectly, his expression serious, so much so that Nathan almost laughed. The boy looked cannily like himself when he was forced to give donor lectures back in Oregon. The resemblance was odd, but Nathan dismissed it. The shrug. Lucas's eyes lit up when he realized who he was approaching. You're Dr. Nathan Wilson. I read The Dawn of Giants twice. Well, technically 2.5 times. And your Ceratopsian nesting article in Nature Ecology. I even wrote a report about it for school. Nathan blinked in surprise, then chuckled. Oh, you wrote a report about me? Well, I hope I gave you a passing grade. Lucas nodded so enthusiastically that his glasses almost slipped down his nose. An A plus. My teacher didn't even believe I understood half of it until I explained it out loud. Angelina growled loudly and stepped forward. She was all in contrast to her brother. Cold blue jacket with a popped collar, white shorts over a black wetsuit top, sneakers still little dusty from the helicopter pad, and a streak of hair that had refused to stay tied back. Ignore him, Dr. Wilson. He's your number. Ignore him, Dr. Wilson. He's your number one fanboy. Meanwhile, I actually do stuff. Computers, electronics, you name it. The sanctuary runs on code. Give me 10 minutes and I can make the monorail sing opera. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry. Lucas shot her a horrified look. Angelina, you can't say that in front of people. The people who built this place. She smirked. Relax, nerd. I'm kidding. Mostly. Nathan raised an eyebrow, half amused, half wary. Remind me to never let you near my laptop. Rivera cut in smoothly before the sibling bickering escalated. Their father wanted them here to get a sense of what's being built, not just numbers on a balance sheet, but living, breathing creatures, and they've only just landed an hour ago, so don't mind the jet lag. Angelina crossed her arms. Yeah, the flight was brutal. Private chopper came from the airstrip near LAX straight to the sanctuary. I thought Lucas was gonna throw up halfway through. I did not, Lucas snapped, cheeks flushing. That was turbulence. They even stifled a little, glanced at Morales. They seemed spirited. Morales smiled thinly. Spirited, yes, but also the future of UGNA, which means it's in everyone's best interest to keep them entertained. Angelina rolled her eyes, aka, don't embarrass Dad. Before Nathan could reply, Morales clapped his hands together, signaling the transition. Alright, enough standing around. We'll head to the Thompson Lodge for lunch before we start the tour tomorrow. It's just north of the Innovation Center, a short walk from here, overlooking the valley. It's also just south of the livestock holding pens. Chris perked up instantly. Do they serve steak there? Angelina groaned. Of course, that's the first thing you ask. Nathan laughed softly, adjusting his schedule. Well, you're in luck, kid. With the way this place looks, I'll doubt you'll be stuck with cafeteria food. The group began walking toward the lodge, the towering glass of the Innovation Center fading behind them as the sun glinted off its steel frame. Chapter 11. The Thompson's bungalow was the personal and unique residence of Henry Thompson and the Thompson family in the San Diego Dinosaur Sanctuary. The Thompson bungalow had a relatively small living room and six video monitors that displayed animals around the park. Brachiosaurus, Compsognathus, Dilophosaurus, Gallimimus, Pachycephalosaurus, Pteranodon, Parasaurolophus, Stegosaurus, Triceratops, Tyrannosaurus, and Velociraptor. It also had an elegant dining room and a master bedroom with an almost Japanese style design. It was located in the northern sector of the park, north of the Innovation Center. The Thompson Lodge also had a small library, a kitchen, and a luxurious late Victorian era style dining room, three other bedrooms, and a study hall. The exterior of the house having a thatch or wooden walling and roofing in a mixed Turkish or ancient Bali style architecture. Nathan slowed as he took them in. Each monitor displaying information feeds from across the park. Closure, acreage, temperature, humidity, feeding schedules, and population counts. While on the screens, on one of the screens was a detailed map showing Isla Sorna with the various dinosaur information by engine, alongside a detailed illustrated photo of said dinosaur: Tyrannosaurus rex, Parasaurolophus, Compsognathus, Velociraptor, Brachiosaurus, Pachycephalosaurus, Triceratops, Stegosaurus, in that very order. Efficient system, Nathan remarked, folding his arms. Rivera nodded. Every major panic is logged here. Thompson insisted on total transparency for safety and for his own peace of mind. Angela gave a dry laugh. Peace of mind? More like he wanted his own private control room. Dad doesn't like surprises. Lucas frowned. That's not fair, Angie. He just wants to make sure the animals are safe. Angelina smirked at her younger brother. Keep telling yourself that, fanboy. Lucas turned red. I am not. Morales cut in with a genial clap of his hands. Okay. Why don't we argue with a full stomach instead? Lunch is ready in the dining room. Dining room carried another layer of contrast. Victorian opulence, a long polished oak table gleamed under soft lamplight. Highly backed chairs with dark leather cushions surrounded it, and the table itself was already laden with food. The aromas were overwhelming. Platters of ribeye steak drizzled with herb butter sat beside trays of lobster tails. Their shells cracked and glistened with garlic glaze. Grilled shrimp skewers and scallop lays stayed steaming on silver dishes. Bowls of fluffy mashed potatoes, charred asparagus, buttered corn on the cob, and baskets of warm bread filled every gap. Honey glazed roast chicken and roasted vegetables gave off a savory sweetness that mingled in the air. Whoa! Lucas whispered, his eyes widening. This looks amazing. Angelina slid into her chair with a shrug. Better than the chips we had on the helicopter, that's for sure. That was when Maria appeared from the kitchen. She was 18, slender, with a shy posture and soft features that carried her Haitian and French descent. Her dark hair was tied back neatly, and though her dress was plain, she carried herself with quiet grace. This way, please. Maria said softly in English, gesturing to the chairs. Everything has been prepared. Thank you, Nathan said politely as he took his seat. Lucas gave her an awkward smile before quickly turning his attention back to the feast. Conversation started slowly as everyone filled their plates. Rivera raised her glass lightly. The sanctuary may it thrive. They clinked glasses, and for a few minutes, the only sounds were cutlery and appreciative murmurs. Nathan finally set his fork down. I want to say this plainly. I'm not opposed to the San Diego Dinosaur Sanctuary after what was confirmed in 2001. Spinosaurus, Coryphosaurus, Ankylosaurus, Ceratosaurus. It was clear that the animals weren't going away. Combine that with poachers smuggling creatures out of the Muertes archipelago and eco-tourists risking their lives doing, well, nothing would have been better. I mean, nothing would have been worse. Lucas looked up, intrigued. So, you actually like the sanctuary? I believe it has a purpose, Nathan said. But what I am against is unethical treatment. These aren't circus animals. If they're confined improperly, stressed, or neglected, they'll suffer the same psychological conditions we see in big cats, elephants, even orcas. It's called zoochosis, and it's as dangerous for the people around them as it is for the animals themselves. Angelina leaned back, chewing thoughtfully. So you're saying this place is good unless the people are running it screwing it up? Nathan allowed himself a small smile. That's about right. Morales gave a polite nod. We're aware of those risks, we're aware of those risks, Dr. Wilson. I assure you. Our enclosures and enrichment programs are designed to avoid such outcomes. Words are easy, Nathan replied mildly. Time will tell. There was an uneasy pause, broken only when Maria returned with the desserts. She carried the tray carefully, setting down small plates of chocolate mousse. Mu- I don't even know how the hell you say that. Caramel tarts and a porcelain bowl filled with freshly churned ginger ice cream, topped with a hint of lemon zest. Zesty. Okay, seriously. She placed the ice cream in front of Lucas. This is fresh, she said quietly, almost timidly. I hope you like it. Lucas's face lit up instantly. Ginger ice cream, eh? He dug in eagerly, his eyes widening after the first spoonful. This is incredible. Rhea gave a tiny smile before slipping back toward the kitchen. Angelina smirked. Careful, Lucas. You'll get a brain freeze and embarrass herself in front of the scientists. Lucas ignored her, too focused on savoring every bite. Nathan chuckled softly at the sight. After the heavy talk of ethics and responsibility, the boy's sheer joy over a simple treat was a welcome reminder of innocence, untouched by the burdens of dinosaurs, corporations, or science. For the first time that day, the table felt lighter. Chapter 12. San Diego, California. February 3rd, 2004. Mid morning. Morning light spilled across the sanctuary, gleaming off glass towers and steel fences, throwing long shadows from the Innovation Center's pyramid. Past the humming monorail and fenced off roads, the Creation Lab rose like a stronghold. Its concrete and steel exterior was softened by glass observation windows and banners that read InGen/United Genesis in bold lettering. Nitrogen tanks stood like sentinels in its flank, their pipes coated in frost, hissing faintly into the cool air. Beyond, a medium-sized juvenile paddock sat enclosed by thick walls of reinforced steel, ready for hatchlings to test their legs before release. Waiting at the main doors was Ethan Davis. His lab coat was worn open over jeans and a faded Greenpeace t-shirt. ID badge clipped sideways, he waved with casual swagger, a grin already on his face. Welcome to the factory floor, folks, even said as Wilson, Lucas, and Angelina approached. The Creation Lab, or as marketing likes to call it, where science meets spectacle. Personally, I prefer where I babysit computers so the dinosaurs don't melt. Lucas's eyes went wide, his breath catching. This is it, the hatchery, the actual hatchery. Angelina folded her arms and muttered, thrilling, concrete and pipes, real magic. Ethan smirked. No worry, Angie. Looks less like a bunker and more like an Apple store had a baby with NASA. Come on. Inside, the lab was a striking contrast. Smooth light floors reflected bands of blue light. Glass wall chambers revealed rows of incubators, glowing in sterile mist. Digital screens scrolling genetic data and incubation stats. The steady hum of refrigeration units and servers filled the air, punctuated now and then the hiss of nitrogen. Okay, ground rules, Ethan said, laying them down the main corridor. Don't touch the incubators, don't press buttons, and definitely don't lick anything. These machines cost more than my apartment building, twice over if you count maintenance. Wilson chuckled softly at his ir- irreverence. Lucas practically bounced on his heels, leaning toward every glowing console. Angelina trailed behind, bored already. They stopped at a row of fogged incubators. Ethan tapped the glass with the back of his knuckle. That's our nursery tech. Climate control dial down to the decimal. Temperature, humidity, oxygen saturation. It's all handled by AI. I've got a monitoring app that pings me faster than a data match if something drifts out of range. Lucas's glasses nearly slipped off his nose as he peered in. You can see them. The embryos are. Oh my god, that's a ceratopsy in silhouette. Even pointed finger baby guns at him. Bingo, the kids know his stuff. Most visitors will just go, aw, baby dinosaurs. But you're in the 1% who spots a beak ridge through misted glass. Congratulations, Angelina groaned. You two need to get out more. Damn. They moved on. Ethan pulled a sleek silver case from a nitrogen unit and cracked it open. A burst of vapor spilled across his hands. Inside, vials rested in racks, each labeled in sharp lettering. Here's the good stuff, Ethan announced. Dreadnoughtus, Dilophosaurus, Stygimoloch, Pachyrhinosaurus, Allosaurus, Brachiosaurus, Cryostort, logged in 6 databases, triple encrypted. If we ever lose power, I get a call before the coffee machine even notices. Wilson leaned in slightly, studying the labels. His face carried both wonder and unease. Ethan grinned at him. Don't look so grim, Doc. These aren't ticking time bombs. They're more like the world's priciest thumb drives. Lucas, wide eyed, stammered. That's the entire evolutionary branch, preserved in liquid nitrogen. Do you realize the sheer nerdiness? Angelina cut in. Yeah, we realize. Ethan snapped the case shut and returned it to storage. Because InGen's vaults love surprises, a gesture to a frosted chamber at the far end. Inside, under pale lights, lay a Hulkin form lay half half encased in ice, a woolly mammoth carcass, its tusks yellowed, fur still intact in patches. These are mummified remains of Mammuthus trogonferi, or better known as the steppe mammoth, even said with mock nonchalance. From our Martel facility in Siberia. Not my department, but the geneticist lose their minds over it. I just make sure the freezers don't glitch. Besides, the steppe mammoth, it lived in the Middle Pleistocene epoch, between 600,000 to 370,000 years ago. The steppe mammoth was a larger, close relative to the woolly mammoth, with steppe mammoth fossils ranging from northern Europe from Western Europe to East Asia, with some fossils being found as far as the Ryukyu Islands and Formosa. However, the steppe mammoth likely went extinct due to a mix of climate change into the end of the Pleistocene epoch or overhunted by modern humans, early modern humans, and Neanderthals. In fact, the steppe mammoth could weigh up to 11 metric tons and be about 13.1 feet or 4 meters tall at the shoulder, the largest steppe mammoth specimen being found in Mosbach, Germany, being up to 14.8 feet or 4.5 meters tall, tusks that were over 16 feet or 4.9 meters long. Wilson stared at the beast, his reflection hovering ghost like in the glass. Remarkable but dangerous. The speed of this technology, it tempts ambition. Dinosaurs, mammoths, these are lives, not assets. Containment carries stress, trauma, psychosis. Even till his head is grin softening. I get it. You read the horror stories. Hell, I've seen them. But here, it's not chaos. Every system is redundant. It's redundant 10 times over. Every enclosure is monitored like Fort Knox. The animals, they get better healthcare than most people. The sanctuary isn't a zoo, it's a conservation project. It's a conservation project. The security budget the Pentagon would envy. Lucas nodded vigorously. See? They're doing it right this time. Angelina snorted. Till a raptor hacks your systems, your servers, and jailbreaks itself. He even snapped his fingers, pointing at her with a grin. Hey, don't give them ideas. Security audits already keep me up at night. Wilson frowned but said nothing more. Even clapped his hands, breaking the tension of comic timing. Alright, philosophy hour is over. You've seen the vials, the Ice Age popsicle, and the baby monitors. Now, how about the fun part? The archery wing. If we're lucky, you might watch a baby stego stretch its legs for the first time. Lucas gasped audibly, nearly jumping in place. Angelina rolled her eyes but followed anyways. Ethan winked at Wilson. Trust me, Doc. Nothing makes a cynic melt faster than a baby dinosaur. The group walked deeper down the glowing corridor, past humming machines and curling nitrogen fog, toward a place where life itself was about to wake.